The president has a new idea to punish Democrat-run states. He might have a tough time targeting Colorado with this one. The start of a formal move to get rid of the county coroner discovered hiding bodies for years. Legislators condemn a former colleague for being a creep, including some of them who participated in the misbehavior. They love the game, and they don't know how to quit. We'll meet them tonight on Next. Colorado is on President Trump's excrement roster for a number of reasons. Immigration policy top of the list. But the president who promised his supporters that he would be their retribution may have trouble retaliating against Colorado for his latest crusade, punishing states that allow people to get out of jail without paying cash bail. Our Spencer Soisher explains.
It's a hallmark of the most popular board game in America, the get out of jail free card.
All over the country, cashless bail.
If President Trump was playing, he'd flip the board and then threaten to take away people's money unless they got rid of the card.
We're ending it.
The president's newest executive order is to end cashless bail. It's a form of bail reform used in 3 states and Washington, D.C. The president says he'll pull federal funding from states that use it. Another 5 states, including Colorado, have bail reforms.
We hold these people in jail simply because they are poor.
A bipartisan 2019 Colorado law mandates non-monetary bail for certain low-level offenses. The state offers a personal recognizance bond in Colorado that allows people to get out of jail without paying any money if they promise to return for future court dates. So is that cashless bail?
We have a doctrine called no retreat to the wall. And in many states, a similar doctrine is called stand your ground. It may just be a question of terminology.
9 News legal analyst Scott Robinson had a different answer than Jeffco's Democratic District Attorney Alexis King.
I think the 2019 law and the executive order are apples and oranges.
King agrees with a law allowing risk, not money, to be the criteria for getting out of jail. She points out this line in the order.
The executive order is focused on those who are, quote, a clear and ongoing risk to society.
She says that aligns with how Colorado's law works, but it's too early to know what direction the president goes.
I don't know of any DA that would argue for a personal recognizance bond for someone who, as the language says, is a clear and ongoing risk to society.
The sponsors of the bill are split on if they still support the law as is. Democrat Leslie Herod thinks that the law as written will keep Colorado safe. Republican sponsor, though, Paul Lundeen, says he supports what President Trump is doing. He wants the law revisited, saying it made sense in 2019, and he referred to a new culture of lawlessness and says it's time to hit the brakes on it now, though.
Yeah, right. Ideas, cultural ideas about crime come and go. Right now, we're in a moment where President Trump has seized on something, the idea that crime is out of control in cities, even if it is dropping in cities like Washington, D.C., and Denver, and L.A., and other places. He's seized on a moment, and some Republicans are clearly willing to go along.
Right, and it is that perception, like you said. This passed overwhelmingly when it passed through the Colorado legislature. I think it was 36 to nothing. It was crazy how well it passed. And now you see somebody flipping on it already.
Yeah, taking another look. All right, Spencer Soisher, thank you. The company that manages automated license plate reading cameras across Colorado is pausing its pilot program with Border Patrol and Homeland Security. This comes after they falsely told us, you, and Denver City Council that Border Patrol wasn't able to access those cameras. This matters because Colorado law prohibits using license plate info for immigration enforcement. Earlier this month, when our friend Spencer Soisher, who was just here, when he uncovered that Loveland police were sharing access to their cameras with immigration agents, well, Flock told us that CBP was not on their camera network. They blamed Loveland police, said it must have been an outside deal between Loveland PD and the feds. Well, then Flock backtracked. The CEO said the company was, in fact, in a pilot program with immigration agents aimed at disrupting drug and human trafficking operations. Flock now says that pilot program is paused while they implement new rules they say will block immigration agents from being able to do broad searches of state and national data. Investigators now say they found 24 bodies and containers filled with bones and human remains in a mortuary owned by Pueblo County's coroner. State regulators found the decaying bodies last week in a hidden room at the Davis mortuary. The inspectors were there as required by a new state law. The mortuary is owned and operated by that man, the coroner, Brian Cotter, and his brother, Chris. Investigators removed the remains over the weekend, and they started the identification process, which is expected to take months. The state suspended the mortuary's license. El Paso and Fremont County coroners are taking over operations in Pueblo County for now. CBI searched the brothers' homes today. We should say no charges have been filed. There's a group that wants to circulate a recall petition on the coroner, Cotter, who's a Republican. They have a few more steps before they can actually gather signatures. The governor and several local leaders down in Pueblo County have asked the coroner to resign. He's elected, so he can only be removed through a recall. When you're looking to zip past traffic, the toll lane beacons, you trade the time savings for some of your American dollars, unless you have 3 or more people in the car and one of those HOV transponders. Except when those glitch out. Here's our Marshall Zellinger.
Even better than zipper merging is when you can freely pass cars on the highway stress-free and free-free. With 3 people in your car and an HOV transponder, your trip is at no extra cost.
$1.25, $1.45, $1.80, $2.20.
Devin Shad is adding up the cost of his free HOV trips.
I'm owed already, just going back, I believe I'm owed $168.
The tricky part about getting your free pass on the highway is making sure your pass is switched from the yellow toll setting to the red HOV setting.
It's not like they've been able to express that, hey, this was switched to toll, we're not going to pay you back. That would actually be an easier answer for me to understand. Hey, it was my mistake versus theirs, but it's clearly on HOV and still being charged.
Shad wrote to Express Toll, which is operated by E470, the issuer of the transponder, asking for all of these charges to be reversed. And 2 days later, he got an email saying he would receive refunds only for charges within the last 60 days.
I'd like to be compensated for the entire time I used the toll that I was wrongfully charged.
An E470 spokesperson told me issues like this are known to happen with newer vehicles with special windshield features like a heated windshield, though those are really expensive fancy cars. E470 was able to review Shad's account and saw issues with his transponder being billed at one scan, but then his license plate being billed at another scan, suggesting something was wrong.
If I'm getting charged, who else is getting charged?
And I just got late word from Shad. He heard from E470 a short time ago and will be refunded his entire amount. His warning is to check your bill and somehow keep the receipts of who's in your car when it's HOV. I believe there's some cameras, Kyle, that might audit this also. And I think when it's on HOV and you drive, people are going to ask, well, why don't you just keep it on HOV the entire time? If you drive past one of these monitors when you're on HOV, I believe there's a light that lights up, and there could be law enforcement watching it at that point, and that's when you're going to get dinged. I don't know if you're ever going to have it on HOV and then they're going to charge you because they're like, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Check the camera. Didn't have it. I don't know if that's the technology that exists or not.
So wait, you pass this thing, everybody's supposed to like stick their head out the window and wave all at once just to prove you're all in the vehicle?
We could start that, kind of like the whole zipper thing.
That seems nuts. Maybe just a selfie, not the driver. Somebody else in the vehicle has to take a selfie for proof. All this seems like it's more complicated than just fixing the issue. Glad it was fixed for that guy. Marshall, thank you. Colorado legislators are giving Republican State Representative Ryan Armagost a parting gift as he leaves, a condemnation for his creepy conduct. He resigned rather than face a censure for snapping a sneak photo of a female legislator, then circulating it to other Republican representatives who proceeded to mock her clothing and compare her to a prostitute. Some of the GOP reps involved in the mockery of their colleague today helped to toss Armagost under the bus. It just so happened he was in charge of the Workplace Harassment Committee at the time that he took and shared the photo of Democratic Representative Yara Zokai, passed around in a group chat with other House Republicans. Legislators in the chat compared her to a stripper and a prostitute, and the photo was quickly shared with social media trolls who have kept it circulating ever since. Zokai says once the photo hit the internet, she's faced harassment and threats against herself and her family. Today on the House floor, she called out Armagost for slipping out the exit to avoid a more serious punishment.
Don't get to address former Representative Armagost directly today because he chose to resign rather than face responsibility. When faced with accountability, he chose to run. And his resignation does not erase the harm that he caused. It does not absolve him of responsibility. And it certainly does not change the fact that he left this chamber less safe and less honorable than when he found it.
Armagost had announced plans to resign and move to Arizona for a new job. ducked out early to avoid the censure. Only 2 Republicans, Douglas County's Brandy Bradley and El Paso County's Ken DeGraff, voted against the resolution. They said the disrespect at the Capitol is a both sides issue. Part of the reason the governor called state legislators back to the Capitol was to adjust Colorado's first-of-its-kind AI regulation because business doesn't like it. Today, legislators decided, maybe we just won't. They're actually going to punt the issue till they return in January. Tech companies want them to change an impending state law that makes companies liable for discrimination in the AI software they use. Democratic Governor Jared Polis and the tech lobby want more progressive Democrats to walk back some of the requirements before this becomes law in February. They're worried it's going to push AI companies out of the state. Negotiations on tweaking the regulations fell apart at the last minute, so legislators instead pushed back the start date of the AI regulation to next June. So you can expect them to take this back up when they return to the Capitol in January. A pipeline operator comes clean about an oil spill on tribal property. They say, well, you know what? The spill is thousands of gallons larger than they originally reported. Pueblo's voters will soon decide whether to ditch their mayor and go back to their old form of government.
And every time you can hit the ball, it's exciting. Every time you catch a ball, it's exciting. The excitement never stops.
It is that excitement that keeps America's oldest softball team coming back year after year. We'll head to the annual Peach Bowl next. Colorado's rural hospitals are struggling financially these days, although they are no longer on the hook for millions of dollars that just got charged to them after the state lost a legal battle against UC Health. So back in June, the state surprised 29 public hospitals with a request that they return $60 million in state funding. Denver Health was put on notice they'd have to refund $15 million, and small rural hospitals were on the hook for the rest. Once refunded, the money was supposed to go to UC Health. That's because UC Health sued the state over how 2 of its hospitals were being reimbursed. Today, the state announced there's a settlement with UC Health. It means the state won't have to immediately take back the funding from the smaller hospitals. The state will have to move funding around to pay UC Health in the future. For their part, UC Health says they'll donate $5 million to help the public hospitals make up for the lost funding. For months, tribal leaders in southwest Colorado have been saying that they are dealing with the largest gas spill in state history, something that was denied by the pipeline company and denied by state regulators until now. State regulators now say that the pipeline operator, Enterprise Products, estimated that the pipeline failure in December had spilled 23,000 gallons of refined gasoline in Durango and on the Southern Butte Reservation. Now, after the state questioned the accuracy of the total, they came back with a new estimate of nearly 97,000 gallons, the largest refined gas pipeline spill since the state started tracking that data in 2016. Back in May, the tribe said they were frustrated with the cleanup response from the company and the state. They said they were worried about the impacts to health and the environment. The state now says it is expanding monitoring down there and installing additional treatment systems. Let's chat with meteorologist Chris Bianchi. We got a little bit of a mess out at the airport tonight.
I believe the term hot mess would be the appropriate one for what we're seeing out at the airport here, Kyle. Reason being, we picked up over 1.25 inches of rain in 1 hour, and we had a thunderstorm sit right over the airport. We are now on hour 3 of a ground stop at the airport, which means that planes that are trying to get to Denver can't take off from their inbound location. And we've got a slow-moving storm just sitting over the east side of the metro area. It looks like a hurricane in parts of the east metro area right now. Some very heavy rain, some 2 to 3 inch per hour rainfall rates with these storms on the southeast side of the metro area. Getting a little rumble of thunder here in downtown Denver right now, but there's a closer look in. A little good news, that thunderstorm over the airport now pushing off to the east. Here's the good news as well. Pueblo, over 1.5 inches of rain, more rain than the previous 83 days combined. So parts of the state that really need the rain getting it, and we'll keep some of those showers around tonight. Drop back into the upper 50s and some more showers and storms for tomorrow for us. So we're staying in this active monsoonal pattern over the next few days. So when will it finally dry on out? Well, just in time for the Labor Day holiday weekend, with those temperatures getting up into the low to mid 80s for us for Labor Day next Monday. Until then, widespread showers and storms through Friday.
Pueblo City Council does not love the mayor, does not love the whole idea of a mayor instead of, them being in charge, like the good old days in Pueblo. So last night, City Council overruled the mayor's veto and approved a ballot question for voters asking to get rid of the mayor's office entirely. So in November, Voters in Pueblo will decide whether they want to go back to a council-manager form of government. Eliminate the mayor's office, replace it with a city manager chosen by council and responsible to council. That's how the city was run until voters decided to bring in a mayor in 2017. The councilor behind the ordinance is a vocal critic of Mayor Heather Graham. He wants the council to have the hiring and firing power instead. Mayor Graham nixed this ballot question earlier in the month. She said that upending the way city government works would stall progress in Pueblo. But last night, council voted 6-1 to put her whole job up for a vote. When we return, peach season in Colorado.
Just a league of older ladies that love to play softball and make it fun.
In their 80s, even their 90s, America's oldest softball team is still out there. Hey, a reminder, God willing, the creek don't rise. You can watch Next streaming each night, 6 p.m. on 9 News Plus, and Next is a podcast each weeknight, wherever you get those. A softball team in Lakewood is often called the oldest in the country, but the team has not been around as long as its players have been. We have featured them in past seasons, and you told us you so love these ladies. We are back for the Colorado Peaches' 4th annual Peach Bowl.
I'm part of the Colorado Peaches women's senior softball team. I've been playing with them for 7 years.
This is a tournament just among all peaches.
I think our youngest is 62, and Mom, we call her Mom, is our oldest, is 91.
I was looking for some activity, and someone at Hilltop said there was a Peaches team, so I came out and tried for it.
The Peaches are really different than any other senior women's softball team. Everybody plays, all ages, all abilities, on the team at the same time.
It's just a league of older ladies that love to play softball and make it fun.
Nice hit!
Woo! I taught line dancing for 30 years, and a couple of the people that was in my class kept saying, you need to come play softball, you need to come. I'm like, I can't play softball, you know? I thought, I'll come watch, right? Well, I got hooked. I got hooked right away because of the people that play this game.
There were not a lot of teams to join before Title IX, and this has given them an opportunity in their 70s to come out and learn a new game and be a part of a team.
I'm just privileged to be a member of the Colorado Peaches team. It's an honor to be here.
You got it, run through. Good job, Linda.
Just the love of all the players that I play with. I can't imagine not being part of something this wonderful. And I'm sure there's a lot of groups that are inspirational to people, but I'm just blessed. I'm lucky. I'm so lucky. Whew.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gotta have a thing. If you want to live long, you gotta have a thing.
And they do.
They have a thing, Marilyn. They have a thing. I have a thing. It's called feedback. We'll do it next. The lights up there are broken. We're going to do it here. Steve and others wrote in about words tonight. They enjoyed excrement roster. Tom and others wrote in enjoying the word creepitude. Here's the standard. If you know what I meant, then we're good. Bob says, Kyle, does it bother you the bosses won't allow you to have facial hair but will allow fellow reporters to have it? You're trying to start trouble, Bob. I like trouble. Trouble that I start. I'm not going to be a part of the trouble that you start. See you next time.